Welcome back, guys.
Hey.
I was going to say what episode, but I'm lost. I don't even know how many we've done.
I don't know what day it is, Bill, let alone where we are.
Wow, yeah, with the kids being off and all of that, I have no idea what day of the week it is either.
But we're back.
We're
and
back.
You're back.
We're
so
back.
Thank you for watching us.
For joining us for another week, another chit chat.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
Good. Nothing. I think. Nothing major. I don't think. Just a normal week of school and hobbies and life, and yeah, everything's been good. Just normal. Nothing to report. Really, I don't think.
I did see a thing, and it was a boring life is the best life because it means there's no dramas, there's no bad things happening, and it actually made me think, yeah,
I'll take this
that's
week.
true.
Yeah.
I'll take a boring week.
Yeah, it was nothing to report. Just a nice week. Nothing to say really. Yeah, good. Nothing major happened. Nothing that I need to do. Nothing that I have done. But got through the week. I'm here.
Good.
Still smiling. You?
Well, I'm a bit disturbed.
Oh,
I've watched a TV show.
okay. Oh, is this going to scare me? Don't do this to me.
It might do a little bit. So it's going around, so I thought I'd watch it. It's an English drama, so I don't normally watch the English ones. I'm more of an American TV show. But no, I thought I'd watch it. And yeah, it's actually a little bit terrifying. Not in a scary, watching it was scary, but just what it makes you think about. So to give everyone context, it's called.
I have no idea.
Yeah, you would.
Ironically, I don't watch television.
You don't watch TV, so I actually have to explain this to you as well. So it's called Adolescence, and it's about a 13.
That word on its own is scary. That's just that word.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god, teenagers. Yeah. So it's called Adolescence, and actually, they filmed it in one take. So there's 4 episodes, I think, but the whole thing is the cameramen move and they it's all filmed in one take. So I think they record it a few times.
Yeah, but the way it's filmed is
in the moment it's not cut, start again, cut all the movement and the emotions and everything. They filmed it really, really well done, to be fair.
Clever.
It's almost like a theatre show because you don't stop and it's live.
So it's not a film. Sorry,
it's a 4-part series of an episode. I just watched it on my box, so I don't know.
So you watch it 4 times? There's 4 different things?
4 different episodes.
I get a bit confused with episodes and series and all that. So.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a series.
Okay.
4 episodes, whatever. I don't really know. But yeah, so there's 4 parts, and it's about a 13-year-old boy who murders a 13-year-old girl.
Great start.
So yeah, it's pretty grim, and he's accused of it from the episode 1, so that's not ruining the storyline or anything.
He has done it.
He's been arrested for it.
Oh right, okay.
So there's not really and I've seen videos of the guy who created it talking about it, and he's like, it's not a thing of did he do it, didn't he do it. You pretty much know, or you gather through that he's potentially done this. It's more of provoking you as to why would a 13-year-old boy murder a girl.
It gets you thinking.
It gets you thinking. So that's why it's terrifying, because you see the parents, average parents, dad's got a bit of a temper, but he's nice to the mum. He's got a bigger sister. She's living at home, a couple years older than him. Nice, goes to a normal school. But it's why is this boy got to a point where he's actually murdered this girl? And basically what it's kind of provoking you to think about, that it's kind of a combination of a lot of things. It's the school that he goes to, it's kind of the schooling system and the government, that there's no real kind of how to deal with emotions and stress and bullying and all that kind of thing as a main part of school. You get taught trigonometry, but you don't get taught how to deal with feelings and relationships. Social media, a massive one. The boy was looking at women and objectifying them and a bit rude stuff, and he's a bit of a geeky boy, or that's kind of what they made it out like, and he likes this girl who another boy's sent loads of pictures of her around, a bit provocative, so then everyone's calling her names, and then he thought, well, if nobody else is thing, I'd like to go out with her. So he asked her out, and she basically shot him down do you really think I'm not that desperate, you're ugly? But this is all online, and it's all falling back. So basically humiliated him. He gets picked on at school anyway. He's him and his friends aren't the cool kids. Society, just to how everyone is brought up to think about women and what a masculine man is, and kind of just the ideology and the mental of how we bring up kids to then be adults. And so it's a bit of like everything involved, like the friends that you have, the school you go to, online stuff, you know, the schooling system,
because
it's like basically it's everybody's fault, the world that we live in today.
Well, at first shot you'd think 13-year-old murders somebody, little fucking shit, do you know what I mean? It's wrong and
messed
whatever,
up in the head, but actually you look at it and it's like the pair, it's a little bit of everything. It isn't really one thing, but it's like that could literally happen.
That could have been prevented.
It could have been prevented is the main takeaway
from them factors.
Yeah.
You know, combining them factors.
That we should all be doing a bit better.
Because
it could literally happen to anyone. And that, you know, he hadn't gone through bad trauma. He hadn't had a horrible childhood. There was none of these things that help you understand a little bit of maybe why he got to that point. It's literally
there was just a tiny bit of things that happened during
he obviously didn't know how to deal with his emotions. He was getting you know, embarrassed, and he's at the age where that's really important, and you know, friends and things at school, and obviously online stuff and the school system or whatever. And he just lost it. Obviously thinks, you know, down on women and that they're less than men, a little bit of everything. So it's like, oh my god, like.
But when he'd done it, did he change? Did he have any remorse in what he did, or was he the one? Obviously, I don't know what, you haven't watched it, but do you get what I mean? When in the thing, does it say that he did it, or does it not actually say that point? So how does he react? Should we say?
So it starts with,
is it reactable? She deserved it, or was it a reaction of, oh my god, I can't believe what I've done, but actually I think I've done it because of this.
No. Okay. So it starts with him being arrested, so you don't actually really see him do it, but then they show you a clip of CCTV a little, so it's quite blurry and far away. And then at the very first episode, the him and his dad are waiting, because obviously he's not an adult, in like an interrogation room, and the dad says, did you do it? And I'm sure he said no. And then they're like probing him, and then he has another woman come in and says, I can't even really remember now what happened. I was just a bit like shocked. So he has this other woman come in, and obviously trying to watch it with kids don't help in the background. Her job is to basically assess him and give her understanding of his understanding, almost like, have you understood what you've actually done? Do you know, like, you've killed someone, they've lost their life, like, have you understood, or are you like maybe mentally unstable? And then she gives her assessment to the judge before that he gets a sentence or whatever like that. And there's a scene where she's in there and she's asking him, like, so, you know, what do you think being a man means, you know, and starts asking him all these things to try and understand him. And he loses it and gets right in her face. You don't tell me what to do, almost like an authority thing.
And that didn't necessarily come from his home.
Well, his dad's got a temper.
Yeah, but like you say,
they show you a little bit of that.
Videos that he probably was
probably a bit of everything. So he's seen his dad maybe lose his temper and stuff. But then, you know, it's not like his dad beat up his mum. It wasn't that bad. He lost his temper. He maybe shouted, but he didn't take it too far. Probably typical parents that of what most of us, you know, do. Or don't realise.
It's like that thing, isn't it? Like, hurry up, get out the door in the morning, and then you're like, bye, have a good day.
Yeah, exactly. So nothing really crazy that stood out, but obviously all of this added up, and the way he thinks, and he lost it with that woman and was screaming in her face, but then afterwards, like, you know, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have shouted at you, and she brought him a drink and he was like, I don't deserve that drink. So it's just,
it makes you think, doesn't it, of things, I think.
And even when I watch some of the TV shows that I watch, like I mentioned last week about watching that Temptation Island, and the guy literally going to a villa to prove to his girlfriend that he's not a cheat, and then has a threesome 2 days later. And it's like how can we stop our boys being arseholes as men?
Yes. Oh, yes. So it has. It's made you think. And I get that.
It's like, and obviously this boy was 13. So it's not like a matter of like this can happen as an adult. Like, you know, and we've seen it as teenagers. Like, you know, the boys that were nasty and the boys that are horrible. Like, you know, like even you were saying about taking the piss out of girls with periods and stuff. Like, you want to bring up a boy that's respectable, but like not a pushover. Like, it's finding that bloody balance.
It's very hard. And it also, I think you can tell your child however much you like, but you can't stop who, someone else getting that information to them, or doing that next to them, or that sort of a thing. So you can try to guide
he
your
was
own.
pushed to a certain degree. He was bullied. The girl was like humiliating him. Like, he didn't just do it because he's messed up. Like, he was provoked, but obviously couldn't deal with his feelings and had this massive outburst, which we've seen young men and even men throw their toys out their pram, can't deal with certain things. And it's like,
Anna sometimes.
How do we make sure that, because there's not something they teach in schools, clearly that's part of the
and
demonstration.
again, that's a very hard balance to, I think example's a big one. Like you say, it's what they see is a big one.
It's something we can control.
Whether that's at home or online. So at home, of course you can control it to an extent. Obviously some days
you lose it, but I think there's a way that you react. I think it's unrealistic for a parent to hold it together 24/7. And like I said last week, I don't want to shield him away from the things. I want him to see me stressed. I want him to see me upset, but it's showing him how to deal with that. And I think that's the example.
That's it. And then more going over it with them rather than in the moment when you're obviously pissed off. When you've gone through that, like you say, explaining to them and just going over it again with them.
And if you have lost it and shouted, apologize, and I shouldn't have done that. Like, parents should apologize.
Well, it's one thing that I mean, we don't really bicker, to be honest, now, but if we ever do, or we have a debate or an argument or whatever it is, and it's been in front of the children, when I say that, I mean just a little something, do you know what I mean? I'm quite big on them seeing us apologise to each other and make up too. So not that just all of a sudden they're talking again. Because sometimes
see that full circle.
Because sometimes you do that. Sometimes you just don't talk, and then I don't know. You could make a cup of tea, and you think I could just make my own cup of tea, but I'd be a proper bitch if I didn't make him a cup of tea. So I better make him one, and that's kind of the thing without saying anything. But in another sense, you have to. I like them just to the kids to see that makeup too. Does that make sense?
How to deal with it, how you react, and then how you if you didn't have a very good reaction, how you then make up for it, or even dealing with it. Like, say me and Liam, I mean, nobody I think could argue with Liam. So we don't argue. We have sometimes like difference of opinion on certain things, and we'll talk it out. But the minute we disagree on something and we're not even raising our voices, Casey's like, stop arguing. I'm like, we're talking.
Lexi did that with us. Stop arguing. We're not arguing, we're debating.
We literally hadn't even changed our tone of voice, but because he could see that we weren't on the same page about something, stop arguing. I'm like, Jason, we're talking it through, but I don't agree, and this is why. So I think it's just example. That's something we can control, and that I feel comfortable with. What do we do about social media and phones and things like that?
That's a big thing in my house.
Because Kaysen lately is definitely getting more on screens. I've never been strict with screens, and up until recently he just had his iPad and YouTube Kids. Now he's got the PlayStation and he likes Minecraft. And Ricky's boyfriend gifted him a Switch on holiday, so now he's got a Switch, which is nice. So he's got a few devices, but literally if the battery runs out on one, he'll go to the next one and then the next one. We've started to implement breaks now, so we go, right, you've had it constantly for a long time now, it's a break, and he's good, and he'll stop, and then he'll be like, is my break over now? So he'll ask. So he's starting to understand that he can't be on things constantly. And to be honest, the Minecraft I don't mind, because all he does on this Minecraft, he doesn't go on the normal way of playing it, the survival mode or whatever that is, where you actually die and you have to collect things and to live and stuff. He goes on the creative mode, which is basically he gets access to everything, and he just builds houses. So he's built himself like a house and a McDonald's and a prison for some reason, and all these different things. He's like a little village. So I think that's quite good. You know, it's creative, and like he has to take different materials and put them together to create something. So, and they've all got fancy names.
But there's no access for him to. Do you get what I'm saying? So that game, there's no access for anyone to kind of
like play with
him.
No, so it's just him.
Connect
He
with him.
plays, and he's got access to all the materials. He doesn't have to hunt for it or anything, so he just builds things, but he has to combine 2 or 3 different materials to create like a potion, or to create an iron suit.
Yeah. No, but playing it, he's
But
safe.
he's safe because
Because I have
it's
heard
not
things.
he's not playing
about
online.
Oh, it's not that. It might be in another game. It might be Minecraft. I'm not too sure on the name.
This one, yeah, there's Roblox, which at one point he was
Maybe
playing a boy from school. But yeah, with this Minecraft thing, he doesn't play with anybody else. He basically just builds, which is engineering in my eyes. So I'm like, yeah, build as much as you want, figure it out. And he does. He uses things that like aren't things to make chairs and tables, and it's like really, really
Which
smart.
I think is good for him with his age.
Yeah, it's imagination and stuff.
He's not. Oh, can I go because I want to connect and build with so and so. Whereas I feel mine are at different ages.
But the YouTube one, he's watching other people play, and I don't think that's very good.
Well, it depends, isn't it? I think
he's learnt a lot from it, and he knows how to make certain things.
Morgan likes watching this football thing, and it's really just following a football team, and how they play, how they train, and But it's football, and he's into football, and it's just the same as men watching football every week, isn't it? Really, the television that way.
Exactly.
There's another one he watches, and it's like I think it's like a father and a son go on different adventures, like camping, and how to survive and what to do, and different tips and tricks. And that one I love. I think that one's brilliant.
That's really good.
There's some things he watches is that it's watching someone
play a game,
and how they're very overreactive to it.
Yeah,
that I find weird. Lexi used to watch things of someone recording someone with dolls playing, hey, I'm gonna go and get some tea, like that. It's literally her watching someone play with the dolls being recorded. That I didn't like. But so yeah, I'm a bit funny with I think I'm a bit over the top. Maybe I'm not, I don't know. But in my house, I'm phones and Xboxes and things like that drive me insane. I think it's because of that. When you're saying it just makes you think about stuff, it just panics me a bit. I just think you don't need it. I just think what you're doing, there's no benefit of what you're using it for. So I like the connection of, you can connect with your friends and, in whatever, all over the world. And it is nice because they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
They're not just like this. They're all talking, they're laughing. And honestly, some of the noises that come from Morgan sometimes in his room when he's obviously laughing and playing at the same time. So it's great.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's what Liam used to do. He would play, only obviously as he got older, play his friend in England, and they play football thing.
Exactly.
But they're like chatting, they're catching up, and like, that's nice, that's fine, because you're not just staring at something.
But then, so for example, like with Lexi, she has on my phone, obviously, she goes on TikTok. Now, I don't have TikTok. This is for her.
Yeah.
I say for her. It's for her because I like her doing the dances.
Yeah.
I think I like her doing the dance.
She's into dance, so she goes to dance class.
Routines, and the music.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's when then you fall, the same as YouTube and other things.
Yeah.
You fall, and the social medias, you start just flicking and flicking.
Scrolling.
And she's then flicking through shit that I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I can't control so much. Obviously, you go on that one, it's for following and for you. So try to keep her on the ones obviously who she's following, because then it's just everyone we know and who I know.
It's just friends.
I can control who she's there and who she's got on her profile, and hers is private anyway, but obviously I always can control that.
Yeah.
The one thing that I don't like is Snapchat, because the messages you can't see, you can't get back.
Yeah, that's just a dodgy app. In like you've created it for it to delete itself.
That's one thing that I don't like. But at the same time, they're going to turn around and say, "Oh well, he shouldn't have it. He's not old enough to have it."
Yeah.
Anyway, fair enough. He shouldn't be having a phone. If they didn't have phones, I'd be happy with that. That would be great. I'd happily carry on with life, no one having phones. But unfortunately, it's the life now, and it's just the way things are.
Well, yeah, because otherwise they're the left ones out, and everyone else has got phones.
Yeah, but for me, and I probably can control it a bit, maybe over the top, or a bit more than others. I don't know. That's no judgment there. That's just me. In phones and turning it off and putting it to the side, and now more with Mason, because I kind of give him advice and then he doesn't do it and it's not helping him. So in the end, I'm like, no, now I'm telling you to do it.
Yeah.
Rather than going, it's probably best, and you don't do it and it's not helping you.
Yeah.
Maybe no, I'm going to tell you now. You have to.
Yeah.
No, you have to leave it over here and turn it
Gave you
off
the
at
chance to
whatever
make your
time.
own mind up,
Yeah.
but you haven't, so I'm doing it for
because
you.
because you get to a point and think, well,
Yeah.
no, I'm in my head. This
Yeah.
again, this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not a good parent if I'm not
Yeah.
controlling or doing or them things, and
Yeah.
that's just me, and that's just me how I think as a mum. But
Yeah.
we're the ones who are molding and shaping these humans to
Adults.
grow up to
Well,
be.
that's what freaks me out,
Exactly.
is that these kids are going to be someone's husband
Mhm.
or someone's wife,
Mhm.
like someone's father, like,
Even just a friend.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Even
You're going to have friends that are, you're going to have a
Yeah.
friendship group as you get older.
And
You're going to be a colleague. You might be a business owner. Like, you're going to be a person in the world,
Yeah.
and you're going to affect all these people around you in all these different scenarios. And other people are going to be able to affect you as well. It goes both ways. And one thing I did see, because there's this famous guy, he's called Gary Vee, he's this big marketing person, and he gets asked questions all the time. And one of them that always comes up, it's like, how do I protect my children on the internet? And he said, well, it's a bit unrealistic to expect them not to be on the internet. The only thing you can control is their self-esteem. So if you raise mentally, emotionally secure, people with good self-esteem, then they're going to be able to protect themselves.
Yeah. And who are open and honest, that can talk and like with you
can communicate.
and exactly that.
Yeah.
Rather than keep it in. And
so that's one thing that I agree with. We can limit things to a certain extent, but what we need to focus more on is raising good people that are secure, that, because most arguments, lashing out, bad behaviors, all of that comes from an insecurity or a bad experience, or not feeling good about yourself, really, most of the time.
Jealousy, things like that, of when, as you think young, thinking of young, when you're in that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Some people say, and they don't really mean it. It's actually
well, when they
and
say
then that can
most
escalate.
of the time, bullies are bullies because they've got something bad going on at home, normally, is what ends up being the case. So to raise kids that are secure in themselves, and I think Liam, as a teenager, like, looking back, he was quite like that. There was a lot of us that were doing things and pushing boundaries, and he was still part of the group, and no one picked on him or pushed him into anything, and he knew his own mind of what he wanted to do, what he didn't want to do. So it's just kind of, now I'm aware of that. It's like, right, how do I make Kaysen and Hayden like,
and crossing the line of
self-esteem,
banter and bullying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But also, like,
right.
say, if you're on the receiving end of it, I saw something today, actually. It was funny because I'm scrolling on my phone, and Kaysen come up next to me, and it come across a video, and it was a bloke demonstrating bullying. So he got this girl up on stage, and he was like, right, I want you to call me stupid and just keep coming at me. So she was like, you're stupid, and he was like, don't say mean things to me. And it basically, how a normal teenage conversation would go, if someone's being mean and you're trying to you're mean back, and you're trying to say things back or tell them to stop, and it just escalates. And obviously he said, basically, bullies get their kicks out of your reaction. So you getting angry, you getting upset, they're trying to get power over you. And then he said, right, now start again. So she's like, you're stupid. And he was like, yeah, I do stupid things sometimes. And she was like, yeah, you do. And then it's just,
you don't
threw her off.
And
then he was like, yeah, but you're amazing. Yeah, I know I am. Thanks. And then he basically was like, just being nice to her.
Yeah.
And he was like, you can be mean to me if you want, but I'll still be nice to you.
Yeah.
And then it just threw them completely off. And I was like, oh, that's quite a good video for him to come and sit next to me and watch. So we had a talk about bullies and stuff like that. But
it's a good way of thinking about it, don't you?
because instantly you go, stick up for yourself. And like, if someone's being mean to you, the instant thing is to go back to them. And it's like, actually, the best way to stop a bully, and I said to him, I was like, it's a person who you don't care about. You know, just because they say something doesn't mean it's true. And if they're not a nice person, then they're probably not someone you want to be friends with anyway. So who cares what you think? I'm only going to care about the people that I care about.
It's a hard one, because then
sometimes
you
friends
of child
do that
playground things with your groups. I think I remember being young and being called into school because of a like a three's a crowd situation. And
girls are nasty at that age.
So that I remember that, And little advices I've had to give to to Lexi, when she's about, and it's fine. Sometimes you've got to take action on something, and some things it's by tomorrow it'll be it'll be something else. You know what I mean?
It's hard.
Sometimes as a parent,
Yeah.
you have to act, and sometimes you've just got to see, maybe ride out and see where it goes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also be aware that although yes, your children are perfect, they're not always perfect.
Yeah.
So if anyone ever does approach you with anything that could have happened, and be open into listening, and that kind of a thing, because I've gone through experiences like that before, and I think people were probably more shocked in my reaction to not go, oh no, mine wouldn't do that. It was more, right, no, I'll have a speak with them, or I've spoke with them, and going forward with that.
I think everything's just a balance, isn't it? I think that's the main takeaway, is like, you want them to stick up for themselves, but then you don't want them to react to everything, because everything's not a big deal. Like, oh well, move on, ignore them. Like, you don't have to react to everything, you don't have to stick up yourself every single situation, but then you also don't want them to be ignorant to things, and maybe not see things when they're maybe the one that's on the receiving end of friends that aren't being very nice. And it's easy to say, well, don't be friends with them because they're not a nice person, but then what if things going on in your friendship group? Because sometimes that happens.
Exactly.
And then
and that could be just for a moment, like you say, that it's just got to be and take action. And I've always said to mine, never start, always finish. But that could mean a whole lot of different things. Do you get what I mean? As in, that doesn't, never ever start something, but you let something carry on. You nip it in the bud, and that's it. However way you need to, depending on the situation.
And I think it's a nice approach to be open-minded, but then at the same time, you kind of want to back your kid up as well, because they need to feel that you're in their corner.
If that,
especially like in other people, it's like they say about couples, like it's one thing in between the two of you to go, look, I think you're a bit wrong there, but in front of other people you should always be on their side. So it's like doing that, but then I'd be very open to be like, oh, okay, doesn't sound like him, but let's figure out what's happened. But then it's, if the other parent is like, your kid, then I'd end up,
well, I think as a parent, it's analysing the situation and how to deal with it, and also teaching them to analyse situations and how to deal with them. And it's hard, even us sometimes we don't, but it's just trying to give that the base, but it's scary. I mean, I've got, well, Morgan, for example, all the spaces have opened now for registering for secondary school, so that's a new stage.
That's a big decision. So he's not just going to go to the next one up from the school he's in?
No, I've decided not to. A lot of different reasons, just from my experience with Mason, and a few of the families that I've had to translate for and be in the school with. It's just not the place for Morgan. It's just not. He loves to learn, and he loves he loves being with his mates and all that, course, but I just don't think it's the right high school, secondary school for Morgan. So he won't just be going to the standard one that you go to
that
in
everyone's
our area,
following up
sort of
to.
thing. We will be looking around at other options, and he's fine with that. I think initially it was a bit but I think
so it was your decision, and
my decision,
and it's not something Morgan necessarily wanted.
No. Morgan wanted to just go, obviously, with his friends, which is natural. It's always natural. I remember going from my primary school thinking, oh, how many are going to go to my secondary school? Because literally these two secondaries was next door to each other. But it's more of like a catchment thing, isn't it?
Well, I went to a secondary school with none of my friends, because I went to the junior school. I don't know why I went to that junior school. It wasn't far away.
Just a different area.
Everyone went to the secondary school at the end of the road. But mine, because I ended up, obviously I must have been on the cusp, or maybe we moved house, I can't really remember. But I ended up going to a different secondary school to everybody. And I only knew Tony because we'd gone to gymnastics together. So that was the only person that I knew going to my secondary school, which was horrible. Like, everyone's going to be together.
Yeah. You've had all them primary years together.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I went for 2 months and moved here, so it was completely irrelevant.
But he's happy, he's confident, he knows, he understands.
So you've explained to him why?
I have explained.
It's better for him, that you don't think it's suitable for him.
Yeah, and he understands now, I think. But I'm doing what I think's best for my child, this child.
Yeah.
Now. in the moment. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
You know? So
well, that's good,
that's
because a lot of people might not have even put too much thought in, the secondary school is in the area, that's the only one, they all go up together, everyone's followed through the infant school and everything gone up. So a lot of people probably don't even think about other options.
I did it with Mason. It was just from my experience. And again, Mason and Morgan are different people. I get that. But the experience of the school for me with Morgan, it's just for education for him. It's for me as well. It's not the best. And I think if I can find something that's better for him, that's doable, feasible, whatever, then I will do it.
Yeah.
But it's a next stage. That's what I'm coming to. It's that feeling of a next stage, and
secondary school is going to be crucial to his development.
It is, and it's the same with we talk about the phones again, but it's the same thing. It's you kind of can teach them so much, and then you've got to let them, work it out for themselves.
And it's not that I don't want Kason to not make mistakes. Like I say, no kid's perfect, but I just want him to have all the tools,
just give him a little bit of a heads up.
And so that he does have not an easier life, but obviously if he knows how to regulate his emotions, and he knows how relationships should work, and he feels good in himself, and he's got good self-esteem, and he knows what he's worth and those kind of things, and it's just going to make decisions, hopefully make better decisions. And it's your decisions that you make in your life is what takes your life to,
and I think
success
by
or not,
giving him I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I think for giving probably a little bit of a better opportunity, maybe to learn more and grow more in a better way, because like you say, this age is crucial, and I'm not all for
friends with
the grades. It's not about the grades as in you
think he's going to get better grades.
It's not about that. That's not what I'm saying. I left school. I do what I do. You can get to where you want to get, but I'm trying to give him just say a better opportunity. I think that's probably the best way to explain it, because there's no disrespect in anywhere. It's just for me and how we are. I just want him to just have that better opportunity, and that there's no, how to explain it, because obviously every secondary school you're going to get something. Obviously, it's normal. But just try and give him a bit of a.
Well, that's the kind of thing that I've been like toying with as well, is like, say, education is important, and kind of being a parent and being in like a different kind of, not world, but a different kind of time than when we was younger, where it was a lot about grades and that's how you got jobs and stuff. Things are very different now, so I don't think I'm as grade kind of focused as I thought I would have been, because I'm open to whatever he wants to do, academic, sport, whatever he wants to do. At the moment he wants to be an artist, so we'll see. So like I'm worried about his education, because he's so much more advanced than his class, and like he comes home with homework and he's tracing like letters. The kid can read, and he's tracing letters, and he can write. He's pretty good at spelling. Like he's always been very advanced for his age, through his own, like say, wanting to learn. And now he's picking some not so great videos on YouTube to watch, but up until very recently it was very educational, the stuff he just enjoyed watching, like that weird Russian show with the teaching you how electrical and appliances work. He's a very fast learner. I mean, even just before recording this, I was outside playing football with him. He's only started to like play football a little bit, and Liam's taught him like the basics. And he's going to me, Mum, you need to be on your toes so that you can move. I'm like, all right. And he's like, if it goes slow, you need to move forward, Mum. And like just the way he's explaining it, word for word, exactly how Liam's told him. So it's like they're such a sponge. And I would just hate for him to not be in an environment where he's just constantly thinking and challenging and growing. And that worries me. Like I know the school he goes to is ranked a pretty good school, but again, I can see the variety of kids in his class. They're not gonna, they're gonna slow things down to make sure everyone catches up, rather than help him continue to progress maybe faster than the rest. And I don't think skipping years is a thing.
No, but on the flip side, then you don't want to challenge him too much that it becomes overwhelming. And then
I want it to be fun. I want it to still be like in that environment where he's inquisitive and he's asking questions, and we said this before recording when we were talking about schools, that the education system was created, I think I read it the other day, in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Basically
That's a big one
to
for
make
me.
like workers. So it's not set, and basically you memorize and then you have to regurgitate the information that you've learned. There's no real thought behind it. There's no creativeness behind it. There's no like problem solving, analytical, critical thinking. And ultimately, as soon as you walk out them school gates and you go get a job, what your value is to a company, or whether you're going to start a business, whatever you end up doing, is how well you can solve problems and how you deal with stress, and being able to multitask and all those things.
Real
It's all
life
skills
dilemma, should we say?
exactly. There is going to be a level of
work.
reading. There is going to be a level of how good you are at English and words, and there's going to be a level of maths, solving problems. Yeah. Do we need to know how to calculate the angles in a triangle? Probably not. But do we know algebra, where you're having to figure out what numbers are? Yes, maybe. There's a level of everything that's
sort
included.
of, yeah. It goes with life skills and whether that comes from.
And I know as parents we should teach a lot of those life skills, but then, like you say, the environment he's in for his brain is really important. And the friends he makes is going to be the opportunities that he could end up having. He might start a business with a friend that he goes to school with. He might end up working for someone's dad in his school. Like you just don't know the opportunities that you're going to have. And I do kind of feel like Spain's a bit stunted for, especially the area that we live in.
It depends, because then look at me and look at Mason.
There's quite a lot of us that have done well.
I've obviously done everything here, and the same with Mason. He had a moment where I think every age has, where repeating and not knowing where he's going and what he's doing, and so on, and it feels like everyone's doing the same thing, and you know there's not a lot of opportunities, but there is. You've just got to know. You've just got to go for it and try it. Like, I mean, obviously, again, it depends what you want to do.
Yeah.
But
you can't just randomly pick something that's out of the ordinary and expect there to be a job locally, because that ain't gonna happen.
No, but I think it just depends on. It's what I mean. I think it depends on what your drive is and how you are as a person. So that's what I'm saying. Even with Mason, we've been like this. I mean, age is a big factor, but him, the change in him, should we say, from him doing more the practical side of learning and then on to work, was huge. I know it was an age thing too, but I feel like that when we were younger, we were able to work more and get these life experiences and using life skills in different jobs.
I started working at 13, 14. My first job was at like a market store on a Sunday, like making coffees and drinks and taking orders.
And I don't feel like that's
changing money.
It's like, if I feel like they don't even look at you until maybe you're 16.
Well, I don't think people can technically actually employ you now.
That's what I mean.
And
so
like,
it's become
I just worked cash in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no contract, there was no safety and security or anything like that. It was you work and you get paid. And I worked 1 day a week, and then gradually I got a job in a restaurant, and I've worked all the way through.
Taught you stuff
like schools and college and uni, where a lot of my friends, sometimes they hadn't. And funnily enough, when I actually was doing my masters alongside working, there was a room for, I mean, I was the older one there. I'd done my masters the year I got married, so I would have been, how old was I then? 26, 27? No, I had case in at 27. About 25, 26 I was. Everyone else was a few years younger, because I'd obviously had a few years working before I went back to doing a master. They'd basically gone straight from school to college to uni, straight into masters. They were most of them were like 21, 22. They all had their rent paid for them. They all had like an allowance from their parents. Every single one of them in that room. I was the only one that was actually working.
Real life.
Yeah. I don't think any of them had even had a first job yet, because they were in the education system. Obviously, a lot of parents say, as long as you're studying or doing something, then I'll pay for you. But like, they weren't even having a weekend job for their own money.
You lack then in
100%.
sometimes common sense for a start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And real life skills and experiences. And I think that gives you more than anything. You can have someone who's top of a degree, yet they walk into or someone walks, or whatever, you lean over someone, you can't talk to that person because you've got no experience. You know what you're doing, but the person that you're trying to get a job from, say,
Yeah.
you've got no connection with, because you don't know how, you've got no people skills.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, and we know, wherever we go to do something, the
Yeah.
first thing is, what's that feeling off that person?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. They might know everything, but they seem like an idiot.
Even a place that I worked, they and I didn't know this. I obviously had my interviews, and I've been quite lucky. I think I've got everyone bar one in the job that I've ever got interviewed for. No one's ever taught me how to interview, but it's just, again, worked since I was young. We've been around a lot of different people from different cultures, different nationalities, different ages. So obviously that's rubbed off on me, and I think that's helped me get to where I've got to. But when I was actually in a company and we were interviewing people, there was like front desks in the company, and people were working, and then the person would come in for their interview, and he'd ask them to sit down, and he'd say, I'll be 5 minutes, and then he'd wait in the back before the interview, and he was like, tell me what they do in like the 5-10 minutes that they're waiting. So he'd actually leave you sat there and judge you based on, before you've even gone into the interview, did you interact with the two people sat there? Did you just sit on your phone? Did you actually maybe pick up one of the brochures for the company and start looking through it? Like, you basically had a test before you even got into the interview. And it's there's a lot of life skills that come, and I think to be an all-round successful person, it's a mixture of everything. And you could go down more the academic route, you could go down more the social route, but I think a lot of jobs require both to do well.
And I think more so now with the paper, like to do something, it's more of a, well, you need the paper to do that. You can't.
Well, it depends on careers now. I think years ago, like, you had to have finished school. They looked at least for like A levels, university degrees in most corporate companies. Didn't matter what, as long as you got one. So previous, it was a lot of like accreditations and paper, and you had to kind of get a certain level before you even looked at. Whereas I think now people are a lot more open to experience, but it depends, because obviously if you're an electrician, there are paperwork that you need. If you want to be a physiotherapist, there's paper that you need.
That's what I mean. I think back in the day, you've got people who are handymen that do electrics all over, whereas now you can't have them.
There is a little bit more like
that kind of just certification that you are allowed to do it in a way. And this is what I was trying to say to mine as well, whereas don't it's important, but it's not worth the stress and tears over the fact that when you get your results and you get your certificate, it doesn't say what you got, what your result was, just
that you got it
passed. You know what I mean? That you've got it.
Yeah, exactly. At most, if you ever meet a customer, there's going to say, "Oh, just checking that you're like you're licensed or whatever the thing is," and you're going to go, "Yeah." They're not going to say, "What did you get on your dissertation at university?"
And I feel Masons learn actually more in the work than actually reading the book, which I did anyway. I did too. And I know people learn in different ways, but that I can see so much of a change. And when I said we'd been to Gibraltar, we came back and he's been in and he's changed all the sockets in the house. It's just it's that. And before he could have done that because he's learning on the book, on paper, by the book, he's learning it. But
it's that additional confidence, isn't it? When you actually get to do a job, it's like when you start a new job. You're always much more nervous, and once you've been there for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, like, you need that confidence in action to do it. Even me, I went from one currency company to another currency company doing the same job, but it's still new people, new systems, like there's still a bit of new stuff that comes along with it that you have to build confidence for. And again, raising children to have a level of confidence that I can figure it out. I might not be good at it the first time I do it, but it's not going to stop me. As long as I keep trying, then I'll get somewhere. And I think again, something that I probably struggled with growing up, so that's something that I want to change with my kids, is look, you're a good person, you try hard, you'll be fine. Like, you'll get to where you want to get to, and there's 100 different ways to get to the same place. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't look the way that you think it looked, or things happen along the way. But ultimately, if you're a good person and you try hard, you're not gonna flop. You might end up doing something completely different to what you thought originally you were going to do, because you might along the way figure out what you want to do. As long as you give things a go and you try.
Even opinions change. I might say this week, I think this is this, and then you ask me next year and I'm going to maybe say a different opinion.
Well, we're not all the same people, and I think like, we all grow, and the more you learn things, the more you change your opinion. you know, the more I've learned about certain things. And I didn't have any screen rules because I thought, you know, he picks educational things and he's very intelligent, and a lot of it is because of the stuff he's watched. So I've never had screen restrictions. Now he's getting to a bit older and he's picking different things, and I'm seeing a lot more science stuff that is saying, you know, too much screen time, this, that, and the other. And I've started to notice his behaviour a little bit when I'm asking him to turn it off for bed. He's like, no, and or he struggles to get to sleep. So now we're cutting it back a little bit earlier. And so yeah, we start to do little things. But then at the same time, I want him to be a kid. So I don't want to be like, you must, because I've seen another thing, you have to earn your screen time. You have to do all these things before you're allowed it. And I agree in a certain way, but it's like if he's just come home from school, he's been learning all day. I don't want make him, you know, some people are saying you have to do all your homework, you have to clean all your room, you have to do, you know, some physical like movement in order before you can have anything. And I'm like, just let him be a kid and chill when he comes home for a couple of hours.
I try to teach mine more that the control that they need to control their on and not me telling them all the time, because I do feel like that's all I do. It's more that you need to control when you're on and off it. Morgan's great at it. Morgan's brilliant. Lexi's obviously a different age and a different, do you know what I mean? That's the one for me that I find her the biggest. Like literally, there's Lexi, and then there's Lexi because she's found something. Like she's managed to get a phone, and no, it is. It's hard. But
he's getting better at, like, say, the breaks. When I tell him it's a break time, and he'll stop and he'll instantly go to his toys and he'll play. And sometimes he asks me if his break's over, and that could be like 2 hours later. And sometimes he doesn't even ask. But what I've started to do is when his devices run out and I'm like, oh, you best put that on charge. I used to just take it and do it. Or I'd remind him. Now I say it once, and then when he goes to go back and it's dead, I'm like, told you. I said, your devices are your responsibility. You need to be the one to make sure it's got battery. I'm not doing that for you. It's yours. So it's a little bit of responsibility, but also, like you say, giving them the power to make the decisions. So, you know, we've started to say, like, you know, the later you go on it, then, you know, when it comes to bedtime, you struggle to sleep. So that's not nice. So you might want to stop it. It's getting them to, like, say, make the good decisions for themselves.
And sometimes, most of the time, they don't. I still have to go and tell them. But it's just
it's getting them to think about it, and they're not going to be perfect. They're still teaching. We're still learning.
And every house is different as well. So some might, you know what I mean? I might write, like, you need to get off that now, whereas she might be talking with someone who's still allowed the phone, or they might even have their own phone, or the same with Morgan, that they might be allowed on their game a bit later, or be allowed awake a bit later, or whatever it is. So that's a hard one as well. But that's, for me, you've just got to try and stick with you and your home, because it's very easy. But so no, you are you, and you know yours and what's best for you, and you just try and stick to it as much. And you've got to question yourself. It's good sometimes to question yourself, but don't so much, because you know you're doing the right thing. And that's what I
use your instinct a little bit, and don't feel guilt tripped into doing something you're not comfortable with. Like, well, if all 10-year-olds have a phone, my 10-year-old should have a phone, but I'm really not comfortable. I don't think they are at the maturity age that I can trust them with a phone yet. Right? Well, if you don't feel like that, don't do it just because everybody else is doing it. And I think, like you say, that is hard as a parent, because you don't want to do anything wrong, and you don't want them to be the left one out.
Questioning, am I being a dickhead? You know?
Or am I overthinking it? Do I need to just let them think more? So that's I'm thinking about schools and stuff, and whether to pull him out and put him somewhere else, and even the opportunities. Me and Liam have had a few conversations in the last couple of weeks, especially. Like, I'm happy being here now for at least the next couple of years, but do I want to maybe move to a place that when they do finish school, they're going to have more opportunities, that they can do more things?
In what way? Because obviously for me, I can't see that. But I just would wonder what you thought. Like, for me, I'm like, well, whatever you want to do, opportunities are out there. But I'm just trying to understand your thought process.
I think there's opportunities out there. I'm not saying that there's not. And like I say, you work for yourself, Mitch works for himself, Mason's doing a great job. Like, there's definitely good reasons to stay. And actually, I looked best places to live across the world, and out of 25 by Forbes magazine, top 25, not one state of America was in there, not one place in Canada was on there, and actually 5 or 6 places were Spain. Valencia was number 1.
Wow.
Malaga, Barcelona, Madrid and stuff. There was a lot of Spain in there, strangely. But I just feel like maybe it's the particular area that we live in. It's very, of an older generation. There's not as many kids. There's not really like youth places to go. There's football, there's dance, but there's not a huge variety of
No, that's one
activities
thing I
for
would agree with.
kids.
There's not much for the community as
So for them to be interested in different things and to encourage that, and then also, you know, for them to hang out. You know, we've got loads of bars and restaurants, but what are you going to do as a teenager? We hung around in car parks, you know, and things like that. And then also the friends that they're with and stuff. Yeah, there's going to be a number of people that, you know, are good role models, that have good businesses or that work in good companies, that have good careers. But the different avenues of what you can go into, I think, are very limited. Real estate, currency, you know, obviously dentistry, TV and things like that. They're all, and you know, electrical stuff, that they're all good careers. There's probably maybe another 10, 20 that you can go into.
But
But
I'm trying to
it's not anything.
because I think whatever you want to do, you can do anywhere in the world.
Yeah, but
Depends
then
on
it's
who
like
as
I'm
a
bringing up,
person you are.
and something someone said to me is like, one of their reasons was like, I'm bringing up kids that basically have to leave me.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd like Case and Hayden to live at home as long as possible, because I don't want you to rush out and rent your own place. I don't want you to get into that
No, but
thing.
mine
I want you to stay at home, and I want you to spend all your
Yeah.
money on starting a business, trying that out, jumping from business to business, exploring things, traveling, like, yeah, experience life before you get into all the
Well,
responsibilities.
like I've said to
because
Mason,
we did that a lot
Yeah.
younger, but I think our generation did just jump into that.
but I
that
said to
stuff
Mason,
younger.
with earning, this is probably the richest in a way that you're ever going to be, because
It
you've
is,
got no outgoing.
yeah.
So
I heard that.
you've got to try and manage your money. Money
Yeah.
management's a big thing, I think, to teach anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, but I don't know then. For me personally, I just would think it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you stick to how you are with
Yeah.
your family, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter where you put them.
Yeah, and
Do you get what
I
I'm trying
agree.
to say?
I agree to a degree with that, but then there's also the thing of, like, if you put a shark in a small restricted pool, they grow to a certain size. If you then put them in the ocean, they grow bigger. The same shark, like, it's like the how much you can grow comes from how much you experience and what job opportunities. Like, I don't even know half the jobs that are out there, and I
Yeah.
fell into mine. Nobody knows a lot of the time, unless you've got something specific that you really want to do because you're passionate about, or you want to get into the same line of career that your parents did or family friends. Then it's easier to kind of know and navigate. But there's so much out there that you just don't know, and I don't feel like we live in a place, and even Spain as a country, even though I love the, you know, the weather, the Mediterranean lifestyle, the work-life balance, the kids can be outside, all of that, there's benefits, and that's why I said I'm happy to be here now. And the second language, all of that's fantastic. But like, we don't really live in a place that's massively entrepreneurial. We don't live in a place that kind of encourages small businesses to start, that helps you. The highest income tax is in this country for self-employment. You don't get any benefits for self-employed people.
No, that's
things
different.
like that.
Yeah, that's different. But I think that's more political, and that's more the government of.
But that's the country you choose to live in.
Yeah, but
can
every
affect
country.
Yeah.
Look at America right now; they don't even know what's going on with it.
No, exactly.
And England's getting worse by the day.
Yeah.
I mean, they say Dubai is the best place, but I don't think that's going to last very long. Like, do you get what I mean? So I would rather teach mine that it doesn't matter where you are, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Rather than go to there because it's better. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I'm not saying like
I'm to teach. That's why I was
go
just trying to
somewhere,
work
but I think just like growing up in an environment where you can teach your kids that, but is the reality around when they're actually looking to apply for jobs and they're looking at like different industries to get to, can they actually do that?
That would
it's like, you can encourage your kids, but if they're growing up with all their friends going, I'm going to go work in a bar and I'm going to do this, and I'm, you know, it's like you could do your very best to give them that mentality, but then it's everything else around them and their opportunities of stuff they can get into.
Yeah, you're right.
And not every there's going to be good and bad.
But
that's
like
country.
with Morgan, when I'm making that decision that he doesn't go to.
That's what I mean. You're making a decision about the school because it's so important. Yeah. The country you choose to live in is so important as well.
It's more the everything that goes on in the school that I don't think he should be. I don't think he doesn't need to go and be all in that. Do you know what I mean? He can do that because that's what he's going there for, and then he can do the social life on another time of the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of the day. But it is hard. Sorry, I was just trying to work out. I was like,
Yeah.
you're not moving. Why do you want to move? No, it was just trying to work out why for me.
Well, just the
why
whole
you think.
conversation that we've just had is like, in my eyes, we can do our very best and we can teach them that, yeah, you know, sky's the limit. You can do anything you want, encourage them. But then, like, the hobbies they get into, the work experience that they can have, the mentality of the country and how they set things up and how you can start businesses and the rules and the regulations. Like, there's a lot that goes into that you don't even realize. Like, I don't know anything about politics, never cared, not interested. But obviously, the country I choose to live in and their rules and regulations affect me in my life. So, again, not something I understand or get into, but then the decisions that you make affect. So yeah, and because we are in an area that isn't really geared towards kids and families and stuff like that, it is a little bit, but no, like activity wise.
Yeah, there's not. I think activity wise, no. I think you've got a lot of families and everyone here wanting it all, but there's not. That's the thing of us wanting to be independent. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But no, it is. It's a very hard balance. It is a hard balance.
But then I enjoy, like you say, at this age, I think it's good. But yeah, it's just that maybe it's just moving schools. Maybe I feel like he's just more challenged and interested and, you know, inspired just by that.
Yeah.
And then we'll see.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You've got to do.
Because like say, me and Liam, we've got, you know, great careers and things, you know, we're very comfortable. But then I don't know, then I just see other places and I'm like, would it be better to take them there? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you've got them thoughts in your mind, then for them reasons for you and your family, then if it comes to it, then you try it and you see if it's better for you. Do you know what I mean? It's not saying that I've ever really, just haven't. But I've gone the opposite now in what I've gone like from wanting to be like this kind of thing to be, no, I just want to be in my own little bubble. Don't even, you know what I mean? Just leave me alone. Everyone.
Members only.
Yeah, you know. Which is a good
no,
thing.
You can't sit with us.
I don't know exactly. But yeah, it's just I don't know why. I don't know how. I think I've just gone to more the basics. I think for me.
Yeah, and I think we have as well. You know, I used to have really high aspirations, and I feel like, you know, at the same time, I don't want the hustle and the grind that I used to do. Like, I want something more chilled and, you know, to be able to enjoy it. And I don't want to, you know, keep going for the bigger house, for the better car. I don't want to do that. I'm quite happy with where we're at. So, and it's like not going further just for the sake of going further.
Yeah,
do I want it? Do I really want it? If so, yes.
But also trying to teach your children to strive more, and you know,
you want to strive, but then you don't want to be chasing, especially just for the impression to give to other people. Like, is it something you really want? And knowing when enough's enough. I think that's the
not
thing.
to burn out.
Yeah.
And that's on everything really, isn't it? With work life.
Exactly. So it's finding that. So yeah, that's kind of the well, I was gonna say dilemma, but it's not really the dilemma because we are happy for the time being.
Yeah.
I am thinking maybe school wise, especially in the next year.
These things that end up just circling around in your head, don't they? You think about
that's the hardest bit about being a parent in my eyes, and the hardest thing about being a mum is not physically looking after them, it's the mental drainness of the thousands of questions and doubting and am I doing the right thing? All of that is what is hard being a parent. And I think that really more on the mum than the dad, because I don't think the dads think that deep.
You just got to go on what you feel for that at that time, and hope you as a parent, you only want the best for your children.
Of course.
So whatever you choose in the end, or you know, it's only because you think it was the best decision for them at the time, moment, you know. And things might change, and you change your decision, and that's what happens.
And you can, you know, we might decide to move and then realize it's not the right thing, and then come back or go somewhere else. Like you say, you can teach your kids that you're not always going to make the right decision. And I didn't mean dads don't go that deep, but yeah, I think we overthink things.
We overthink more, I would say. I think they would probably see us overthinking and be like, "What's the matter?" and ask us.
Yeah,
they wouldn't put it in.
Obviously,
their head.
they care as much as we care, but they probably don't overthink all the little tiny details of: am I feeding them enough vegetables? Have they getting enough sleep? Are they drinking enough? You know, all the extra layers that we go into. But yeah, it's all fun and games being a parent.
It is.
But no, I feel like I'm getting to a nice, happy place. And yeah, it's just thinking of the next steps. Because like I say, we've pushed and pushed and pushed to get to this point. I'm enjoying it. But yeah, what is the next steps? What are we going to be up to in the next 5 years?
But that's the thing, I think, because we've always, for us, of thinking what's next. It's weird that we're more weird for you. We're like, oh, I don't have what's my next plan? You know, I don't have a next 5 year. But I've stopped that now.
Yeah,
I'm just forgetting all that, and
yeah,
that's just for now. It could change. It could change again, but for now, I'm just going with the flow, and not with the children. Obviously, that's they're at a different stage.
Yeah,
I do have to think ahead for them and try and think what's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I'm happy. Yeah. That's just me.
Good.
Obviously.
Good. Right. Well, should we finish on a quick little game?
Yeah, I like game.
So, trying to think of a different type of game. So, one thing that keeps coming up on my TikTok when I'm scrolling is a game called Am I the Arsehole?
Okay.
So basically, someone shares a story, and because they don't know if they're the arsehole in the story or if it's the other people, and actually they're not. So I've got an example of one that I read or heard earlier, and then we can debate whether they're the arsehole. So there's a group of friends, 4 or 5 girlfriends that have been friends since school, and now they're basically like us. We've gone through schooling and college, and we've all grown up together. And they do this thing where they go for dinner every month. And each time they stick to it as well. I was like, we might have to implement this. And each time they go, one of them pays for the bill for the entire dinner. So each time they go, they share the alternate bill. So rather than split everything every time, one of them pays. So it ends up being the same, because they basically say they go to a similar restaurant, everyone has a meal, a drink, and it's, pretty fair and pretty the same every time they go. So recently, and they've done this for years, and then recently they've added a babysitter to babysit the majority of the kids. So I think they maybe put all the kids together and they get one babysitter. But let's say there's 5 girls, one of them doesn't have a child. So 4 of them do, one of them doesn't. So they've got all their kids together. They've paid this babysitter to watch the kids so that they can all enjoy the meal. And the girl who doesn't have kids, it's her turn to pay for the dinner. So she's paid for the dinner. She's gone home as normal. And then she gets a message from one of the other girls saying, oh, you need to pay $100 for the babysitter. Because when they're taking turns, they cover the dinner and the babysitter.
And she's got no children.
And then it's got round to the girl who doesn't have kids, and the other friends have said, well, that's part of the bill, so you need to pay for it, in addition to she just paid for everyone's dinner. So she's like, I'd said, no, I don't have kids. It shouldn't be for me to pay for the bill. And the other friend's argument is, well, it's part of us all being able to come out together and enjoy each other's company and see each other. Part of that is the babysitter. So that's the difference of opinion. So the girl's like, am I the arsehole because I wouldn't pay for the babysitter? What do you think? No, I
don't. Not.
I don't think so.
I think your mates are arseholes.
Yeah, literally.
Their choice to have children. That's their, and I love them dearly because they're my friend's children.
Yeah.
Right. But we're going for. I don't have children. So why am I paying a childminder or whatever?
Exactly. Especially, it was just implied that you would pay. Nobody asked. They just said, you've got the bill.
Yeah, no, she's not.
The only time a friend that doesn't have kids should pay for the babysitter, or should, is if you invite a friend out and then, unfortunately, I can't afford a babysitter. If you then decide, I'll pay for that because I really want to take you out, then you offer. But at no point should you ever be told you have to pay for the bill when you don't have kids.
No, that becomes a... Yeah, but I was going to say...
Unless you all agree, like, look, there's this fee. Are we splitting this between the mums? Are you wanting to chip in? Are you not? Like, there needs to be a conversation at least. And
I
then
feel like if that was us,
to,
we would be like, oh no, you're not paying. You don't have children. You're not included in this split.
Absolutely. Which is why you're not the arsehole, because I wouldn't do it to my friend.
No, you're definitely not an arsehole.
No.
I'd say get new friends.
Ditch them bitches.
Or get a kid and then it just have a child and then it just solves the argument.
Pay for the babysitter and then everyone's happy and friends again.
Maybe not the best solution. But no, my answer to that, no, you are not.
You are not the arsehole.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'll bring another example.
Yeah,
That's a good one. That's one thing that has got me glued on TikTok at the moment is, am I the arsehole? So, was she the arsehole?
Yeah,
do you guys
what do
agree?
you think?
We'll
Do you
see.
agree with us?
But yeah,
Do you agree with the friends?
Yeah.
Friends. I can use it.
Yeah. Friends.
I think that wraps us up for today.
Right. Well, as again, thanks for following us all the way to the end. We know we get into it and chat a lot, but we can't help it.
No, we can't.
But hopefully it's interesting for you guys and you can take things away. And yeah, for the things that we're still unsure about, if you want to send us your opinion, questions, stories, then we're happy to include them in the episode. So thanks again for watching.
Like, share,
subscribe.
keep smiling.
Bye, guys.
Bye.